And here we go with another Chick Willis blues moment.
Let's go with the past. What was it like playing in the past when you're going playing for all kinds of audiences? Future.
Okay.
Let's go with the past. What was it like playing in the past when you're going playing for all kinds of audiences?
Well, now way back in the past, you played for audience sometime, two different cultures, but in the same building, but separated. I will explain what I mean. I played in a town called Jamestown, North Carolina. And we went into this little town, and they had the bandstand set up in a barn. In fact, my drummer sat on a bale of hay. And they had this rope running right down the middle of the barn. And they had chairs on one side, chairs on the other side. And I never knew what that was until people started coming in. People started coming in, all the black folks sit on one side, all the white folks sit on the other side. And we played to this audience, and they would dance, and they had the greatest time in the world, but nobody ever came together. They stayed on either side. Blacks on one side, white on one side.
You know, I received a lifetime membership from the Blues Foundation out of Memphis, Tennessee, back in March 1983. And it's one of the most cherished awards I ever received. The reason is because the guy that gave me the award, he didn't type it out or he didn't Xerox it. He sit down and he did it by hand. He wrote every word in it by hand, my name and the whole thing he wrote by hand to me, which is very, very personal, you know. And it's just an award that I will cherish for the rest of my life. And I just want to thank Mr. Joe Savlin. I want to thank the Blues Foundation. I want to thank Memphis for keeping the blues alive and keeping me a part of it. Thank you.
I say, I got a woman, y'all.
You know, being in the blues field and starting back when I started, it's a long time ago, and you go through a lot of different changes back then that you don't see today, and it's changes that stick with you. You know, I used to play in a club down on Peachtree. It was called a Racket Club, and it was a bunch of nice people came and they had a good time. And they listened to my music, and they party, and they drink, and they just let their hair down. And they really had a great time. And we had a great time playing on the bandstand, playing to these people. But the down of the night, our time that we were really down in the night was the couple of the 2 or 3 intermissions that we took. When we took the intermission, we had to leave the club, go back into the kitchen, and take our intermission with the cooks and the waiters and the waitresses back in the kitchen with the other black folks, you know. But after that was over, then we would be up again because we was back on the bandstand, we was playing, we was having a good time, and people was enjoying my music, you know, and it just made us feel good. But that time that we had to spend in the kitchen, you know, didn't feel so good with us, you know. Just some of the things that we had to go through coming up in the blues. And I just like to pass it on to people and pass it on to the youngsters, you know, young blacks and young whites. They need to know all of the history of the blues and the history of the blues people, you know, and I'm one of those people, you know. I enjoy playing my blues. I enjoy playing my blues to everybody. It's something that doesn't make people happy. And it's the same today. Some things you do, you're happy doing it, and some things you do, you're not happy doing it. You know, years back, I guess it must have been in the 50s, the late 50s, I was playing in a club in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. It was called the Hi-Hat, and it was really a jumping club. We used to have a great time in that club. You know, I would be in that club, we would be playing, it would be jam-packed with people, and they would be dancing and having a good time, and drinking, and hoo-hawing and hollering. Oh, it was a gas, it was a gas. And we would take an intermission, go outside to take a smoke or something, and get some air, and outside of the road, as far as you can see on both sides of the dirt road, was all these cars parked alongside the road, and all these kids on top of the cars sitting on the hood and drinking and having a good time and enjoying this blues that was coming out of this club hi-hat. They was outside because they couldn't come in, so they stood outside, and by being an old country building, you know, you could hear outside just as well as you heard inside. And all these kids would spend all night, as long as we was playing the blues, they would be outside sitting on their cars and having a good time and dancing in the dirt and having a great time. And these kids couldn't come in the club because they was white kids, but they were still enjoying the blues.
My Fanny baby, you know she's a real good girl. I said my Fanny baby, I said my Fanny baby, she's a real good girl. I wouldn't trade my Fanny baby for anything in the whole wide world. Oh, man! The sweet thing rides just like a Mercedes Benz. What about my damn Pino, y'all? Ever thought about how the blues is being used? You know, blues players are getting kind of scared, so it's probably got more clubs in the country
than they do blues acts. So the blues is being used a lot. I can remember, back in the day, you would go to, say, Pepper's Lounge, for instance, and maybe Junior Wells and Buddy Guy would be playing there. I'm talking about back in the 50s and 60s. And but you would see Junior Wells, Buddy Guy across the club there, the big letters, you could see well. And down under there you would see blues, but things have changed quite a bit since then. Now you see blues in great big letters, blues music, and the act that's appearing small does under the blues. So they're advertising blues more than they're advertising the act that's appearing there. And now once you get inside, pay your money, sit down, order your drink and stuff, and the act come on, and it's not really the blues. They're playing, they're playing okay, they're playing good music, but they're not playing the blues, So that's why I say that the blues is being used, because everybody's using the name blues, the blues night, blues day, blues week. They're using blues everywhere, but when you get inside where the blues are supposed to be, it's something different. It's not blues, They got clubs out here that their first name is blues, but you can't find a blues act in there. You spend all week, maybe you see 2 blues acts or close to blues acts. So they're using the blues, But I guess it's okay, except some of us that really like the blues. We get into a place like that and we find it's not blues, and we're kind of disappointed,
Keep it so nice and clean. Yeah, no woman got a 1-bedroom house, y'all, but she always keeps it clean. My woman ain't got no habit. She's the finest thing I ever seen. She ain't got no Cadillac, and she don't have a Mercedes-Benz. Well, no woman don't have a Cadillac, y'all, and she don't have no Mercedes-Benz. But every time I knock on her door, sweet thing, let me in. Lord have mercy. I say I got a woman, y'all. The little girl hair ain't no longer than mine. Yes, I got a woman. I say her hair ain't no longer than mine. But every time she make love to me, I know I'm gonna have myself a good time. Yeah. You don't need no hair, fine thing.
A long time ago, when I first, getting started in the business, sometime back in the 50s and 60s. Uh, we used to meet in all of the entertainers used to meet in Washington D.C. and you had a place to park all your cars, all your vehicles, and everybody would board the Greyhound buses that was leased for the show. And there were people on the show like LaVon Baker and Jackie Wilson and Charlie and Ray and the Five Royals and Midnighters and Bruce Brown and Ella James and you name it, Chuck Willis and Tokie Campbell and Esther Phillips and you name it and they was there one time or another. And we would travel all of the movie theaters in Virginia and we would play all those theaters. We would go in and our first show would be about 11:45 and then when the show was over they would show us movie set and then after the movie set we'd come back and do another show and we would do like 5 or 6 shows that day in that one theater and move on to the next town, Portsmouth and all the places in Virginia. We'd play all the Virginia theaters, you know, and this was in the daytime and this was behind each movie and it was always packed, playing the blues, you know. And that's a good idea to kind of start that back again, you know. And if you don't do that, you can still have other avenues for the blues. Like we used to have a side show on the carnival, you know, and it's called the Midnight Round. We'd always have it at 12 o'clock at night, you know. And that's how Stoop Down Baby was created. You know, you would come outside and we would call it a ballet. You come outside on the stage outside and a lot of people gather around and you would just do little pieces of what you're going to do back inside, you know. You could pick out a fella or a lady in the audience and make a rhyme and say something about them real funny, you know, and get the audience kind of revved up for the Midnight Rambler. And then we would do the Midnight Rambler. And, you know, that's just some of the places that blues have been, you know, successful at, you know, and theaters and on carnivals and stuff like that, you know. And I just think if we started it again, it would be successful. If you started the blues with the carnivals in the summertime when the carnival's set up, you set up your stage, your tent over there with the blues in it, and have your 6, 7, 5 or 6 acts on that, and you do it more than one time. You do it in the daytime, and then at night after 12 o'clock you do the Midnight Rammer, which is kind of risque, which is a drawing card also, you know. But I just think there's a lot to be done with the blues that we are not doing now. We're not showing our youngsters how much fun the blues can be and how peaceful the music is compared to a lot of other music. Just the blues moment.
The gas is too high. I say the gas is too high. Somebody please hear my cry. The damn gas is too high. How in the hell can we get by with the gas so high? My paycheck seems to be the same as it was 2 years ago. But when I start spending my money, it's amazing how fast it goes. I'm catching hell, my money's getting thin. I can't even buy a mosquito pass step in, 'cause the gas is too high. I say the gas is too high. How in the world can poor folks get by with the gas so high? Lord have mercy. Quick Trip, the gas is too high. You know the gas is too high. How you expect for me to get by? You got the gas so high. just a bartender. Tonight a couple of beers won't do. I need something strong to wash away these low-down blues. I lost my job this morning, but that's not what knocked me to my knees. Well, give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots of whiskey, please. I got home feeling bad. I thought my woman would help me ease my mind. But that was my woman in my neighbor, in my bed, locked up in a 69. That shook me, but that's not what knocked me to my knees. Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots of whiskey, please. Well, my neighbor's name is Sam. We've been neighbors for a long, long time. But you know, Sam is a woman. And then I didn't expect for her to be locked up in mine. That shook me, Lord have mercy. That did it. Lord, that shook me to my knees. Well, Lord have mercy. Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shots of strong whiskey, please. Lord have mercy. That shook me, baby. Yeah. That shook me to my knees. Oh! Whiskey bartender, give me the strongest thing, please. My woman and my neighbor in the bed together. Oh, Lord, that shook me to my knees. Yes, it did.